Hope you all have a great afternoon. Thank you for carving a little bit of time from your day to join us for our annual. Louder? Yeah. Yes? You can't hear me? Okay. Welcome, everybody. All right. Yeah, thank you for joining us. This is our annual resident leadership training that our Office of Neighborhood Initiatives and Environmental Services provides. And so this evening we have staff from the Planning and Building Agency, Parks and Recreation, and I believe those are the two agencies today. So I'm actually going to jump into our teams. Our team is going to introduce themselves, and then we'll have a chance for you all to introduce yourselves as well. All right. So once again, my name is Frank. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Frank Bejarano. I'm an associate community planner in the Neighborhood Initiatives and Environmental Services section of the Planning Division. And I'll hand it off to my colleague.
Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth Reyes. I am also an associate community planner. I'm excited to be here with you guys. Thank you for being so welcoming, and I'm excited to, hopefully give you guys some insight into what we do a little bit more. On the side, it's also Margarita, which I'm sure most of you already know.
Yes, hi everyone, great to see you again, Margarita. My hair keeps on getting shorter.
And my name is Christian Urbala. I'm a senior office assistant that assists neighborhood initiatives and environmental services.
Hi everyone, my name is Ricardo Soto. I'm principal planner in the advanced planning section of the planning division. Nice to meet you all.
And my name is Siri Champion. I'm a senior planner at the planning division as well.
All right, no, actually, we have someone joining us virtually as well from our team. So I'm going to have her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alyssa Ventura. Some of you might know me, and I work part of the Neighborhood Initiatives and Environmental Services team as an assistant community planner.
Thank you, Alyssa.
So we're going to be moving towards the agenda just for you guys to have like an overview of what we're going to be discussing. So in the next slide, we'll be going over the meeting purpose, the ground rules, and then we'll also have a few minutes for the icebreaker. Margarita will be discussing the historical overview of our program, and then we'll be providing office updates. And then we'll have staff members from Parks and Rec providing a special events planning update, as well as PD. And then we'll move towards giving you guys an environmental justice update, as well as future trainings that we'll be providing. And then we'll finish off with the recap of the support that we'll be providing, our program will be providing for you all, and then a Q&A, and lastly, reflection and takeaways, and a free opportunity drawing. So some fun stuff in store. And just so you all know, the purpose of the meeting is to kind of provide an overview of our program, also to clarify support and expectations from our staff, as well as how we can enhance the neighborhood association's meeting abilities. And then we'll have the advanced planning team go over the general plan comprehensive zoning code update, as well as how our office is going to be implementing environmental justice policies. And then you guys do have a handout of a toolkit which has resources, and we'll be going over a few of those.
All right, thank you, Alyssa, for that. Now, just outlined here are a couple of the ground rules. Our apologies for breaking the first one, not starting on time. We're just waiting on a couple of items. But if we could all just please silence our cell phones, just so that we ensure that everybody is fully participating and able to get full insights. We want to go ahead and make sure that we're all being supportive and that we're being active listeners, as well as minimizing as much of the interruption when you're speaking, please. And lastly, The aim is to be more solution oriented, so we will do our best to facilitate this meeting. And thank you guys for following these rules, so if we can go ahead and please just silence your phones. I will take that as it's been done. We will go ahead now, just do a mini icebreaker, so we can just select a partner and share your name, somebody that you probably don't know already. And then if you can just share with them one thing that makes you proud to live in Santa Ana. Let's take about 3 minutes. And then that partner will introduce your name and your reason for being proud to live in Santa Ana. As you can tell, we're trying to stay proud here, so. Go ahead and take your time. We have about a minute left. All right, guys, we have about 30 seconds. Let's try to wrap it up. All right, guys, it sounds like we have a lot of exciting things that we're proud about. Are we ready? I think we got, okay, I'll give you the. Please, let's all pay attention to Alejandra, because then she will popcorn and select you. So Alejandra, thank you for volunteering. Hi, everyone. So this is Lisa, and Lisa, yeah, stand up, Lisa. This is Lisa, and Lisa said diversity is what makes her proud to live in Santa Ana.
This is Alejandra Rodriguez, and what makes her proud to be in Santa Ana is the supportive, inviting community.
Lexi, and this is Christine, my partner. She, she said that the best part about living in Santa Ana was the variety of cultures that are here.
Hello. So this is Vivian. Vivian is from the Delhi neighborhood. And I didn't actually ask that question, but I said, what's going on in Delhi? And they're excited because they're getting a library. And they're gonna be able to give out laptops and go home with people with laptops. That's big news. I would think it makes her happy to be in San Diego.
Yeah.
Hi Vivian, this is Scott, and he just shared a lot of information. I just got to talk to him for a few, and he's a very nice gentleman. And I hope to learn more about him as we go through this meeting, so thank you.
Hi, I'm Christine Denny Helbing. I'm from the Park Santiago neighborhood, and I interviewed Dora and Lexi Burnett. And they have lived in Santa Ana and Frenchport for the last 11 years, and they really enjoy the culture.
Hi, my name is Marnie, and I just got to meet Nina, and she is from the Washington Square neighborhood. She married into Santa Ana. She loves the supporting environment and welcoming community of her Washington Square community, and they are looking to do a park. They have an empty lot in Washington Square, and they're looking to do a park space there. She's been working hard to get signatures and get the city on board.
Thank you. All right, and this is Marty. She is a third generation Santa Ana resident, born and raised here. Park Santiago community, the culture, the diversity is through the roof, and that's what keeps her here. And I'm sure every generation after her and her family as well.
Okay, my name is Carolyn Frank. And I'm gonna try to pronounce your name because I'm very bad at this. Katrina? Close enough. She actually lives in a house that's over 100 years old. And they're in over there in Santa Ana Triangle. It's the first time I've heard that. That was something new. And she just loves living here.
Hi, everybody. So I met Carol, and she's from Washington Square. And why she loves to live in Santa Ana, she loves her house, and she's a second generation. So she also loves her neighbors a lot. So very nice to meet you, Carol.
Sí. Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Catalina Iniestra. Tengo el gusto de conocer a la señora Patricia Flores, que es nacida aquí y ha vivido toda su vida aquí en Santa Ana. Es presidenta de Flower Park porque le encanta ayudar a su comunidad y personalmente a las personas que le gusta ayudarlas de corazón. Es muy entregada a ellos.
Hello, hi, my name is Trisha. I'm with Flower Park. This is Catalina. I cannot pronounce the last name is Entres. And she is looking to start a group here in between McFadden and Lyon. I believe there is a group that she
think that there is a neighborhood association for that area, but she's trying to participate and see how she can probably start something in like a Spanish group or something going on. And also that that she really loves the city because she likes getting involved. She likes the community. She likes how everybody comes together and just helps each other out.
Good evening, everybody. I just met Judy. We did not talk much about what makes you proud of it, but she's been in Santa Ana for over 40 years, so she's pretty proud of it.
And he's with Floral Flower Park. And he's been here for 2 years and he's ready and going. He's already got things lined up for his community.
Hello, this is Maria Branca. Frank, and she's with us some people. And the unique thing I like about her is she's in a home about like that. It's built in 1887. It was still working, and I really like that. So that's enough to keep her inside.
Hi, I'd like to introduce Martha. She's on the Comlink team, and she spent the whole time trying to get me more enthused about Comlink and neighborhood associations.
Hi, my name is Carla. My partner's name is Felipe. He is from Santa Anita. And he was born and raised there. Also his kids and grandkids. And they're enjoying a new park in Santa Anita. And also part of the Comlink team.
Hi, everybody, this is Carla, longtime resident in Santa Ana from the Edinger neighborhood. Edinger neighborhood.
You did great.
Hi, I'm Marta with Comlink and want to introduce you to Alan. He is in the Fairhaven neighborhood. He did tell me that he was not meeting currently with his neighborhood, and so that's why I went into, hey, how can we help you in starting and reactivating? It's been 25 years since it's met, so we're looking forward to helping him reactivate that neighborhood association. This is Che, who's also part of the Comlink team. She was born here at Santa Ana Community Hospital, which is no longer here. And went through the Santa Ana School District, became a school teacher and came back to Santa Ana.
And Charles, he was with Fairhaven, bought his first house, he was in 1966, I think. And he's been here ever since. He's also a member of the Army Reserves. So he spent some time coming, going, being back. And looking forward to some more work with us.
My name is Carl Benninger, another member of the Comlink team. Let me get this, before I introduce who meets, let me just say Comlink meets the 4th Thursday of the month. We meet in the Police Community Center. You're all welcome to come. We take on subjects that we think that is good for the neighborhoods to end up hearing. And as mentioned already, we're here to help you in neighborhoods. We're volunteers just like you. We all come from neighborhoods. My neighborhood is one right now. I need to work on getting going again because the pandemic hurt us, slowed us down. We need to do it again. Let me introduce Ruby Wu, and she was our TG Millard neighborhood. They're also trying to get their neighborhoods up and going. And her and I both in the same situation, trying to find leaders to follow afterwards. They over some of these roles, and so we're here to help. She's also a native of California, unlike this snowbird who came from the great state of Michigan. And you see how much I like it here. You're not there, but anyway, Ruby.
as you heard, this is Carl Benjinger. He is the president of the Comlink and very much involved in the neighborhood with the whole Santa Ana. He's also involved with Metro Classic, which I'm getting to learn some of the new names within Santa Ana. But because of an issue, even with the nice fine housing that they have, there's always a traffic problem somewhere. And he brought together his neighbors there with Segerstrom, and there was, they couldn't do a turn in the community that made it very difficult to get into their tracks. So there's always a certain problem within the community that we can all bring together and work together.
Hi, good afternoon. I got a chance to speak to Veronica Almedo. She lives in the Lion Street Neighborhood Association, and she's been a resident of Santana for over 20 years.
Buenas tardes. Mis compañeras son Natalie y Alejandra y somos compañeras de American Fair.
Guys, I know maybe that was a little bit lengthy, but I'm glad that you guys got to know each other a little bit more. Not all right. I will have to protect my voice. But I'm so glad that you guys took the time to get to know each other, and hopefully we can start this training on a positive note. So now that we've done the icebreaker, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the other part of our presentation, which is a little bit of historical information, which Margarita will be presenting to us.
It's a battery. Oh, there it is. All right. Hi, everyone. So I haven't been with the city as long as the entire neighborhood improvement program. Guess what? It's reached the 40-year mark this year. That's pretty significant, and we're still here, right? So we're like the 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 of what was originally formed back in 1983. Who was here in 83? Okay, all right, yeah, so we have the second, third generation folks, residents who've been here. It just shows the transition, how, you know, we started in planning, the housing division was in planning, the planning agency before, and we moved back to planning in 2015, so we're back here, but now we have a different charge. We've expanded our role, and we're gonna talk about it later, but this is just to give you just a historical significance of how the city has invested in this program to help strengthen neighborhoods. And you being here actually highlights why, you know, we need to continue to do this work. So briefly, en español, really briefly, tenemos 40 años aquí este programa. Estamos expandiendo, estamos enfocando en otros asuntos de justicia ambiental que vamos a hablar después. Pero el éxito es que ustedes están aquí y vamos a seguir apoyando. So let's see if the program goes another 40, right? That'll be the test. But anyway, we have a staff of 5 full-time staff, full-time FTEs. So our newest addition is Lisbeth Reyes, who was born and raised here, you know, in Santa Ana, graduated from the school. So that's just a testament to the interest from the staff, you know, who are here, who have their families here, who want to continue to support this program. So es todo. That's it.
Thank you, Margarita.
All right, so we're gonna jump in directly into our presentation. And first, we're gonna have some new updates on the neighborhood dumpster program. Christian's gonna provide that update.
Hi all, so I'll be talking about the dumpster program. I'm pretty sure that all of you guys already know about the program, but for those of you who don't, I'll go into it. Essentially the program is it's the city of Santa Ana and Republic Services. They provide dumpsters to all the neighborhoods in the city of Santa Ana. They provide up to 5 dumpsters per fiscal year. The fiscal year is from July to June every year. And what this provides is committee engagement and of course an opportunity to throw away trash and large items. But yeah, I just wanted to go over for some of the requirements to request the dumpsters. The first one being that you have to be an authorized neighborhood representative or a leader to request those. We are aware that some of the neighborhoods aren't as active as others, so we will work with volunteers that are willing to host a neighborhood cleanup. The second point is there has to be a volunteer or a point of contact at all times when hosting the cleanup event. And then the third one is going to be that it has to be a valid address within the city of Santa Ana. And then for the fourth week notice, that is so it gives all parties involved in the cleanup event to that gives them enough time to work and get everything ready for the cleanup events. But in order to submit a request, you have to reach out to Republic Services municipal supervisor, Mark Mahan, and his contact information is up there. It's also on your packet as well. His contact information, phone number, and email.
Good question.
Go ahead, Mary.
For neighbors that already have one scheduled, we don't have to now fund it.
No, not at all. Yeah, you're already scheduled. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm concerned about liability. In the past when we've done this, people have really overly taken advantage of the program. And, put things like old golf carts and all sorts of hazardous waste like that in dumpsters. And I'm worrying about the liability for the neighborhoods for that.
In terms of liability, I can't say, but I know that Republic Services is being more active in what is allowed and what is not allowed when being thrown away into the dumpster containers. But that would be a question for Republic Services. Thank you, though.
I know Christian has more to present, but the liability is not on the neighborhood, but just know that Republic Services, if they see, that's why we require a supervisor, right? To say, no, do not throw these toxic things, because they won't take it and it'll sit in front of the address and that'll be an inconvenience and you don't want that.
I'll stick around for a little bit if you guys want to ask me any questions. I'll also leave my business card on the table. You guys can reach out to me, or you can reach out to Mark Mahan directly. He'll be able to answer your questions. Also, Francella Aguilar is also the contract supervisor for Republic Services. You can also reach out to her. But in terms of the day of this meetup, that'll be so Republic Services asked that they provided at least an hour to an hour and a half to deliver and pick up the 40-yard roll-off container, which is a dumpster. Delivery time would be from 6 a.m. to 7:30, and then pickup time would be from 12 to 2 p.m. If there are conflicts that arise on the day of the cleanup, unfortunately, city staff will be available on Saturday. Most of the time they happen on Saturday. You can reach out to Mark Mahan and Francella Aguilar. They'll be able to assist you with any conflicts. Go ahead.
Just be clear on what this is. This is that real big one that opens up and you can walk into it. Yeah, it's a 30
That's right.
yard.
It's a 40-yard.
40-yard container.
Yeah. And there's also a 30-yard compost bin as an option as well.
Who here has already used or has done this process? So a pretty good amount of neighborhoods. That's good to see. Yeah, okay. There's a question?
No, compost bin is so it'll have a compost available for anyone that requests it for their cleanup event. It's so you can take like a pile of compost to your home.
Is that in the same size?
No, it's a little smaller. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, so, good question. So, essentially, after your confirmation from Mark Mahan, you'll be able to, reach out to our office and we'll provide flyers and temporary no parking signs from the police department. Good?
Already reserved. Update on the forthcoming availability.
For right now, unfortunately not, you would have to reach out to Mark Mahan to get the availability. And yes, just to conclude, our office, as the program evolves and changes, we really appreciate the feedback on the service as we work to streamline it and make it more efficient and faster turnaround confirmations for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. All right, so changing topics. So, our office has been informally providing, translation. I don't call it a service, but, an option. Some of the neighborhoods, here, have asked our staff, like, maybe a couple days before or on, when we're getting there, if we can translate for Spanish speakers. And we're definitely happy to do it. But I do want to say that, at least I'm not a certified interpreter. We do have someone that is. They're in the box. Yeah, we only have one staff that is certified, which is Margarita. However, post-pandemic, more and more neighborhood associations have been requesting this service. And so, although we won't be able to continue to provide that level of support, we are encouraging all of the neighborhood associations, when you're reaching out to your speakers, specifically city agencies, to ask for a bilingual staff to be able to provide that content. So whether it's a presentation or just a direct translation. We are also, we have a new bag over there, but you can see here in this picture, we actually secured some of those devices so that we can lend out to you all if you need them. Our hope is to be able to work with the library to be able to, for you all to just be able to check them out directly from the library, from their library of names. Who here knows about the library of names? Okay, Marta, perfect. Do you want to share what it is now? Okay, so the library has a variety of different items. They mentioned computers, but there's also you can rent out a pair of skates or just really the most randomest thing that you can think of. They have in their library, and so we're looking to add this to their collection so that it's available to you all, so you can facilitate this opportunity. Yes, sir.
Is there a list of these things online?
I believe so.
Library online?
Yes.
Can you repeat? What was the question?
Is there a list of the library things?
Where would we find a list of what is available?
Yeah, they're most likely on the library website, and if you're interested, we can definitely send out an email with that information in our upcoming newsletter. Thank you. Margarita?
I just wanted to clarify the interpreting, service. So, we've learned that, it's not just the conversational, right? You want precise information on what's being presented. And so it's actually, all the different agencies are kind of feeling that effect in terms of being able to provide, interpreting. And unfortunately, we're having some technical difficulty with the ones that we're having right now because of the wireless connection. However, this is a transition. So, just know that, we'll use our discretion because we understand the language service gap that's needed in some of the neighborhoods, more than others. So, that's the direction, but, the goal is to be able to provide equipment, right? To be able to provide resources. There's some partnerships that we're also seeking
through our community college, right? To be able to make it available to our neighborhoods, just know that's the thinking behind it. So when we say transition, it's not just know this or know that, but it's actually, we're gonna support you in this way. Because we know that that's what's gonna keep the neighborhoods communicating with each other in the short term and the long term. So that's all I wanted to.
Thank you. Yes.
Just real quick, to touch on the library, I just wanted to mention this because I don't know if anybody feels or felt. That's right.
I don't know if everybody felt this the way I did for some time about the library, but so I was a kid in Santa Ana. I grew up at New Hope Library for the most part, and then my mom would drive us over to the Santa Ana Public Library for movies and things. So we lived at the library pretty much. So when this one, who's 17 now, was little, we're like, let's get her to the library, get her involved in reading programs and stuff. And she's a voracious reader, so that was great. And she was in those programs where they'd have, I don't know if you guys ever saw the big, at the end of summer, they'd have a big party and the giveaways of the toys and all that stuff. So we go to these things, but then all of a sudden it became Tent City. And we didn't feel safe going there anymore. And our car was attacked one night and a homeless girl stole her phone one day. And I mean, all this stuff happens. We're like, you know what, maybe we don't want to go. And then construction happened. So then pandemic and then construction just lately. And being honest, I met Frank last week in the turnout to get into the library. And I looked around and I went, okay, this is a different place. So it's been a minute since you've been to the library, go check it out again. I think it's, and with this, I didn't know about that either. Roller skates, and now I'm thinking bicycles, maybe, projectors for things, you want to have a movie night at home. I don't know. Well, who knows what they've got, but it sounds like it'd be fun to go again. So if, I just thought I'd mention it, because I'm now thinking, wait, I want to go back. So.
Yes. But actually.
Thank you, Scott.
They do have a speaker, we actually, tomorrow night, we're having our quarterly
Washington Square Neighborhood Association's having their quarterly meeting, and one of our speakers will be the library, the person in charge of the library, so that should be great. So she's available to talk, discuss anything with any of your groups.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, so thank you for sharing that positive information experience over at the library. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to a little bit of training when it comes to tracking your meetings and a lot of the events and the outcomes. So I feel, and the team feels, that it's really important for neighborhood associations to go ahead and not only host meetings and events, but also track a lot of the outcomes, which is really the results that come about from each one of the meetings and each one of the outcomes, by actually tracking them and actually having them accessible to you guys. By, again, tracking the attendance, engagement, and success stories. We are able to go ahead and see where the effort that we put in for each one of the meetings, the work, and what the objective of the neighborhood association residents is. And then you can see that if it's actually effective with all of the outcomes that you all have. All of the input and all of this hard work should be viable, so that hopefully we can go ahead and get each one of the neighborhood associations ready and with that information for any possible grants, any possible other future programming. And then also that also gets you something more tangible. I know there's a couple of neighborhood association leaders who've mentioned that they want to go ahead and get a trajectory of new membership. So you can have something tangible to pass on to the next generation, and actual, information about what's worked for your residents, what gaps there is, and what information you guys want to go ahead and facilitate, and actually be able to track it. Also with any documentation you have, like emails, all that information is very crucial for your neighborhoods to be successful. As we've mentioned before, we're here to help. If you need any assistance with getting, maybe even a tracking sheet, we're here to help you guys in setting that up. Also Google Docs is great, and sharing that with your residents as well. So in order to do that though, in order to go ahead and be able to track your outcomes and your information and how successful your meetings are and your events are, we need to ensure that we are effective and transparent in our communication strategies. So what does that mean? It means that we all should be clear, concise, and provide complete information. Sometimes it's not the information we want to hear, but it's the information that is accessible to us. And it's important that all of our residents are aware of that information. So effective and transparent communication entails us being active listeners, as you guys are doing greatly today. Providing and receiving feedback. I know sometimes even as, you know, a member of the city, it's hard to hear the feedback, but it's really what's gonna make us grow. It's what's gonna make our neighborhoods grow. And really it's gonna help us see where a lot of the issues are and seeing what possible solutions are at the end of the day. Also being empathetic and respectful to each one of our residents. There are a lot of differences, a lot of different approaches that each of us have. So for that matter, it's always crucial that we're empathetic with one another. Each one of our experiences is different, although we're all residents of Santa Ana, so respect and empathy is crucial. And also timeliness and responsiveness. I know sometimes, you know, we all have jobs, we have lives, we have families, and things happen, but being as responsive as quickly as we can, you know, as simple, sorry for the delayed message, you know, will always, you know, bring you a ton of respect. You know, they know you're not ignoring them. And also being clear and concise in your messages, you know, just using simple language. There's no need to over elaborate. Sometimes simple words get things done. So just a couple of notes to host some of your meetings and provide the best outcomes for you all.
Sorry, I will be clear and concise. So this is not just about you as neighborhood leaders. This applies to us too, in our interactions with you, with other departments, you know, with other folks who can't be here today. So I just don't want you to think that this is, oh, this is all of us, you know, here trying to make some more improvements and be committed to our larger vision, right? So that's all.
And before we continue, there was one of the points that Lisbeth covered was, you know, the outcomes, just tracking your outcomes, and hopefully being able to put together a narrative which could contribute to, you know, for you applying to grant funding. There have been some, you know, there's some great neighborhood associations that have, you know, fundraising goals that they meet on a yearly basis, and there's others that are just starting off and they're getting their feet wet. They want to know where exactly to apply. And so if you all didn't know, the city has two funding sources, one of them being a sponsorship donation through council. Those forms can be found online. If you haven't done it, you're interested in doing something like that, please reach out to our office. We'd be more than happy to help you complete that application. It's fairly simple. And then there's as of this fiscal year, the Arts and Culture Commission, they have a grant that is gonna sunset this upcoming fiscal year, June 31st is still the last day of the grant. And neighborhood associations are able to apply up to $15,000 for programming that is going to benefit Santa Ana community. And so if you're interested in pursuing that grant, there's some folks that they're raising their hands. We've been, I believe our office has been sending out the information in the newsletter, but if you need some help, please reach out to our office.
Thank you, Frank. Alyssa's gonna go ahead and introduce to us our next topic.
Hi, everyone. Hi again. So something that's, you know, something that every neighborhood has to continue working on is the recruitment. Some of you have been starting off again with meetings, with events. Some of you have been more long-term and been able to keep the consistency of participation, but just want to note how important recruiting, you know, new residents to participate in your neighborhood meetings or events, especially like using a personal approach, the type of communication that you're having with them, asking them, like when they go to your meetings, like, how did you hear about our meeting or event? And then having them be part of like your mailing list, or if you guys do like a text message group, doing that, and remaining consistent is something that's important. But most of all, asking those around you. Hopefully you met someone new today here, another resident leader from another neighborhood, and asking them, how do you guys keep community members active? So definitely start there. And then if you guys aren't aware, on our website, we actually have neighborhood meeting tools. So if you have some time, take a few minutes. But on there, if you're don't know what type of discussion topic to have for your next meeting, we actually have a list on there that has contacts for each agency in the city that you can reach out to and schedule them for your next meeting. So that's one thing that we wanted to point out, as well as a list of city facilities in Santa Ana. They could be either community centers, churches, and most of you know that to contact us directly to schedule a meeting with Santa Ana Unified Schools. Thank you.
All right, now we're gonna go ahead and pass it on to our planning team. Siri will go ahead and take the phone.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us here tonight, everyone. I'm excited to share with you one of the biggest planning efforts the city is going to be taking on in the next year, and that's very fitting for the theme of the night, which is planning for 2024. So the comprehensive zoning code update is one of those big planning efforts for the city, and it evolves from the general plan update, which was last adopted in April of 2022. How many of you were involved with that general plan update process? Okay, a few of you. Well, hopefully we'll get more of you involved with this planning effort. The zoning code update is a process that is necessary to be consistent with the general plan. And a zoning code is something that regulates what you can and can't do with your property. So it's really important to public health and welfare, economic development, and so forth. The effort is 18 months long, and it will begin this month. So keep your eyes and ears open for opportunities to get involved. The process will include extensive community engagement, and we'll be partnering with community-based organizations to make sure that we are able to connect with all of you in your communities as well as with your neighbors. So we're excited to be here tonight to announce that to you, and we're looking forward to getting you involved with that effort. Thank you. Yes. Yes.
We need to keep our eyes and ears open. So what is is there like a survey? Is there some like looking? Yeah. What are we gonna be looking for?
Well, we'll be working with this group of folks here tonight, the Neighborhood Initiative and Environmental Services team, using their communication tools. And they have a variety of ways to reach out, and I'll invite them to be more specific because I'm brand new to them as well. But the process itself will involve community workshops, stakeholder interviews, and then a wide range of things to be decided upon in partnership with community-based organizations. So that could be neighborhood meetings, it could be tabling at community events, it could be sending out social media posts, working with them, enabling you as neighborhood leaders to send out social media posts out to your networks as well. That's one of the most important things about why we're here tonight, is because your role in the community is what helps us connect with the people on the ground. And so that's why we're happy to have that kind of question asked, and why we're happy to be here with you tonight. I saw a couple other hands. Yes?
You already have. Zoning code. What is this update all about?
Well, we've had a code for many years, but with the general plan update, we did an overhaul of the general plan. And now, to be consistent with that general plan and to meet state requirements, and to make our code the best that it can be, we're going to do a whole comprehensive update to the zoning code itself. So at the end of this 18 months, it won't look the same as it does today. You hope what? Absolutely. That's what it's about, right? Making sure our communities stay great.
I like to get over it. I like to be part of that.
Great, we'd love to have you. There was another question here.
Okay.
All right. If we could already put our email, will we automatically?
Yes, that's correct. So for those that didn't hear, if she asked if she wrote down her email, is she gonna be able to receive this information that Siri's sharing about? The answer is yes.
All right, are there any other questions? Okay, yes.
Get involved in thinking about the grand plan, how do we get involved in that?
How do you get involved with what?
With the grand plan that you.
Oh, with the zoning code update? Oh, I thought you said with the grant. Sorry, I don't hear very well and I'm having trouble this evening. So we are going to city council on Tuesday next week to enter into a contract with a consultant. So we're at the very, very beginning stages. And we wanted to get out here tonight to you so that you knew what was coming. Once we kick off with that consultant, we'll be putting together a public involvement plan, which will involve all the tools that are necessary to get connected with all of you through the Neighborhood Initiative and Environmental Services group. So you'll be reached through email, and I'm still learning. So like I said, this is new to me as well. And maybe Alyssa or Margarita can help respond with what some of those key tools are that we'll be reaching out to you with.
I can just add a little bit more.
Clear and concise, right? So just to add, there's an extensive community engagement component that supports this project. So like Felipe and all the neighborhoods, you know, that especially are close to these 5 focus areas where there's more intense development or you know, that is going to be very important to have you involved in the process. So we just heard this week that we received a grant that we applied for back in June. And it's all about community engagement. So some of it will be with the Kennedy Commission, because we partnered with them, but also with Charitable Ventures. And some of you are familiar with Charitable Ventures, where it gives up, thank you. It gives an opportunity to use a grassroots approach to get resources in neighborhoods and getting them more directly involved in outreach like never before. So that's the thinking right now, but we still have to, you know, look at all the details and get in sync with the grantee and the co-applicants. Does that help?
Are there any other questions about the zoning code update? Great. Oh, one more.
Be looking at the density of some of the areas.
Yes, the whole zoning code is on limit, so we'll be looking at uses and densities and setbacks. All the kinds of things that determine what your neighborhood looks like and feels like. Yes.
My neighborhood looks really sad. I live at Warner Avenue. Well, we have here, only in the house, it's a mall.
Due to the Warner widening, so we've had a lot of homes taken by eminent domain. So our Warner area is looking very sad. I've lived there my whole life. And there's no pictures of what's coming. There's nothing to be enthused about at this minute. Everything seems very quiet. So I'm just you know, speaking for myself and some of the residents that have shared their concerns, and they're older residents in Boston. So is something approaching or something for like a cleanup? Because it just seems very sad.
It's done.
So I just started with the city a few weeks ago, and I asked today for a map so that I could see the relationship, all the neighborhoods with these specific areas. Ricardo or Margarita, one of you that's more familiar with the focus areas, can you respond to the question about the Delphi neighborhood?
Sure, sorry, I have the back side of the question, but what was the question again? Sure, so the project is CRD covered, is not include any eminent domain or street widening projects. This is the zoning or development code, so it's a text language that would apply to private property on how it can be developed. So it's not tied to the street widening project, but we can connect with the folks at Public Works to see where they're at in the street widening project and get that information to you. No problem.
Okay, I think that the next thing we have might be a
break.
So I will be here throughout the break if you have any additional questions for me. And also we have business cards to share as well. So thank you for your time.
How long is the break?
The break is 7 minutes.
Enjoy some snacks.
All right, we're gonna come back. Want to be able to get you all home on time. So if you can take a seat. All right. So I did want to share, our colleague from the Santa Ana Police Department informed me that she wasn't going to be able to attend the meeting. However, our colleagues from Parks and Recreation are going to be reading off of her slides and information. So I did want to mention, if at any time you want to, if at any time you do have a question related to the slides that Monique is going to cover, related to the special event permitting process for the Santa Ana Police Department, there is an email. It's here for Beverly Martin. She's the one that's in charge of for processing these permits. So yeah, you can reach out to me and then I can connect you with her as well.
Hello, everyone. Hi, can you hear me? Is that the flashing? I didn't touch this.
All right, oh, there you go. Hi, everyone. I'm Monique Lamb. I am the Special Events Supervisor for the City of Santa Ana. I'm glad to be here tonight. As Frank mentioned, Beverly with SAPD is not able to be here, so I am going to read her slides and I might know some of the information. Got it. So we'll go ahead and start. So for the City of Santa Ana, PD, their plan check. So their special events, the yellow picture that is on there is the special event application. They are also in charge of land use certificates, which is what that second picture is. That's an application for a land use certificate. So a special event application is going to be like a street closure or other special event on a sidewalk that SAPD handles. The land use certificate is a public event on private property. So think of using a church parking lot to hold a public event. That is what a land use certificate application is for. And that's that second photo. So on the applications, we ask that you are as detailed as possible, lots of specifics number of people, specific number of rentals, time frame, everything coming in. It is determined to be a special event if it impacts traffic, the public in any way, blocks sidewalks, closes streets so that you can't use it for driving, noise, increase in traffic. That's all what determines a special event. Once we get the application, we also ask that we get a site plan. Those two things can be turned in immediately. That'll allow us to start processing your application. So please immediately site plan and application. Yeah.
Quick question, do you have a relationship with the private property owner of all this?
Yes. Yes, even if you have a relationship with the owner of the private property, you need a land use certificate.
What is that private property parking lot they live in and have a relationship with the owner of the property?
If it's a public event, you need a land use certificate. It's open to the public to come if it's like, even if it's a ticketed event, so say you're gonna have a concert, people buy tickets to go, because it's gonna affect the area.
So we had a bounce house for a party and invited put a sign on the plaque. Oh, it would be lovely.
Yes. Right. Sorry, okay, so for small events, we ask that we have the application and site plan 45 days before the event. It looks like the land use certificates can be 30 days, but the special event application, we need 45 days in advance. So Beverly and my special event team, which some of my team is back there as well. We are the facilitators of the special event permits, but we have to work with all types of departments and organizations in order to get your permits approved. So some of those include OCFA, Orange County Fire Authority, Santa Ana PD, Health Department, if you're gonna have food at the event for the public, business tax. So we help you guys go through the process as simple as possible. So there might be a lot of communication and information we need. So we do ask that you guys check emails as often as you can, because we have to do a lot of communication that way.
Yeah, one question on the.
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm from Amari, which is where I'm the event chair for our events. We've had for 25 years a concert, movie, and parade, which is bigger than 7 bands. I have typically pulled the permits and at least 30 days in advance, and they do all the 3 entities, no problem. Is there going to be a change in that process for 501c3?
No, it's actually 45 days for a special event that we needed. For a park application and for a street closure, it's 45 days. So on top of that yellow application.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I think I hit a button. Land use certificates are 30 days, 45 days for the special event. So the yellow application is 45 days. And the other one, you'll have to clarify with Beverly, but it looks like it's 30 days. Yeah, if it's land use on private property. It looks. Okay, then maybe, I don't know, street closures. Beverly is the one who handles street closures. My team and I handle parks specifically. Yes, so I'm just reading off. I'm just reading off the information for her on that. Okay.
Like the organization is partnering up with a press or an event. I wanted to know, like, to come out as a resource at whatever event. I wanted to know why it's the baby, like, partner doing the event, and you guys really have insurance. I want to know why the organization now we have to provide insurance as well for to be part of participating in the event.
Sure, so and as I explained that we work with different departments and organizations, our risk management department has determined that to be a requirement for us. That is not something that we have determined on our side. We have found the ability to do what's called community benefit. So as long as there are certain requirements met, we might be able to work around getting that insurance, but it's a case by case basis, and we'll just have to ask you some follow-up questions. All right. Okay, so this one, I'm just gonna read this one straight. So what to do if the event is on public property, which is a street or sidewalk. So these events can include festivals, concerts, neighborhood block parties, marches, rallies, posadas, or any activity which impacts the normal flow of pedestrian or vehicle traffic. So the process there is complete a city public property use permit application, which is also known as a street closure permit application. If you're going to close the street, you need to gather signatures of the businesses and residents that'll be impacted by the street closure. We require 80% of them to agree, and that signature page is on the application in the back page already. We ask that you attach the site plan, a traffic control plan if applicable, and it needs to be submitted to the PD and Beverly's emails on there. B. Martin for review. Yes, that's good. Is that Beverly's phone number? I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I believe that is Beverly's phone number. So if you have questions, you can give her a call. So this is that land use certificate with the questions you were asking about private property, so hopefully it helps. So temporary events on private property require a land use certificate. Examples of these include but are not limited to sidewalk sales, radio station promotional broadcast, carnivals, circuses, car shows, parking lot events, church festivities, pop-up sales, and any other similar temporary outdoor exhibition. So to get a land use certificate, applicants must submit a land use certificate application, which was the black and white one a few pages ago, and 3 sets of plans with the following information. Site plan, floor plan, surrounding land uses of properties immediately adjacent to the project site. And then questions or more information, that's Beverly's Swinburne again. And the 3 sets go to the planning division, the PD, and Orange County Fire Authority. All right, so now we're gonna talk about the Parks and Recreation Special Event Planning. So this is what my team and I handle, so I have more information on this one. So for special event planning for our neighborhood associations, we ask that you submit a special event application and site plan, and that's our email, specialevents@santa-ana.org. Please make sure that you have a signature on the application and that we have the site plan with all the areas specified on it. We ask that the person we're contacting for the event is the one filling out the application. We only communicate with one person, otherwise it gets very complicated about who said what and who really wants what. So we ask the person who's submitting and filling out the application is the one we're communicating with for further details. We ask 45 business days is the minimum amount of time. And if you're gonna have a large event, which is over 1,000 people, you can start the process about a year in advance. So once you complete the participant list, if you're gonna have vendors or other nonprofit groups or different things like that, everyone needs to have a business tax license. You can send us the list, but also Jessica Gonzalez in the business tax license department is going to make sure that everybody has the necessary paperwork on file. So some events, especially the larger events, require a walkthrough, and you can request one if you feel like you need to have one. And in a walkthrough, what we would go over is location of different elements and, traffic control and what's going to happen there. So, excuse me, that would kind of go through the walkthrough. Any kind of changes or other information, we'd follow up with you after that. So our step 3 is that external permits that we talked about. The health permit goes through the Orange County Department of Health. There is an event organizer application as well. So if you are gonna have food vendors with canopies, they are called a temporary food facility. They are a TFF for short. They have additional requirements, and you would work with the health department on providing those requirements. Food trucks are a little bit easier because they have an annual inspection. So as long as they have their annual sticker, they are good to go. You still have to fill out the event organizer form with the food trucks. There's just less additional requirements if you have food trucks. The OCFA, they are concerned when there's generators because of the fuel, any kind of vehicles on site, also any tents. They like to make sure that any large amount of canopies are fire retardant and we have a special symbol and seal to show that there is safety measures in place. So those are the things they'll look for. So an OCFA permit is not required for every single event, but if you have large canopies or generators, it is required. A building permit. If you're gonna have a stage at the event that is over 3 feet tall, you are required to get a building permit, and you would work with the building department on that. We'd help you put in contact with the correct person. So insurance. So for special events, the insurance, you would fill it out with the CLIP application. And under requesting the public entity, you would say Santa Ana City of ICRMA. And then you will get a quote for the insurance. And then at that point, we work with Frank and the Neighborhood Initiatives team to pay for that insurance. Okay.
I did want to add, something that came up this past, this year. Related to insurance and, specifically July 4th events. So the city received a number of complaints, related to neighborhood associations. Since our insurance covers you all, neighborhood associations, and you all host block parties. There were some neighborhoods that we received complaints from where there was the use of illegal fireworks, which, as you all know, the city does not allow illegal fireworks, and complaints around public intoxication. So people were out drinking, you know, they were doing street closures, but they're out drinking. That's not allowed, right? And so that could potentially impact, you know, just moving forward if our risk management team allows us to be able to provide you all with insurance, right? So it's a liability risk for us as a city. So we just wanted you all to keep that in mind. I don't know, Margarita, if you wanted to add anything else, but sorry, Margarita, just trying.
Yes, so this is important because, in the past, things were guaranteed, but, we're looking at it from a public health, a public safety standpoint. We want to make sure that the events that the neighborhoods are having, especially whether it's a holiday, I mean, it doesn't have to be 4th of July, but that everyone is safe. And everyone understands when you get the permit, when you get the insurance, that you're agreeing to follow the rules. So as a neighborhood leader, it does put some added responsibility, knowing that we might get feedback on your event, or you might give us feedback about another event taking place. So we are working with our police department, our risk management to evaluate that. And if we have updates, you know, as we go through that and kind of see what did the data tell us, right? We can probably look at updating that in the future. That's all. I keep on saying that wrong.
Okay, so our next step is payment. Now, I would like to make sure I clarify that this process, this payment, all these steps are for special events held by neighborhood associations. Your regular meetings that are held at community centers or different areas, those go through your normal process, and there's not all this. So this is solely for special events. Think of 4th of July, or we have a walkathon coming up. Those are considered special events. So the next step after that is payment. So we have a miscellaneous fee schedule, and the fees are determined by size of the event, different elements you were trying to bring in, if you need lights, things like that. So there's no flat fee for rentals. It is, we have to see the application, get the details from that before we can do that. But there is a council approved miscellaneous fee schedule, and we use that to assign the fees to the different events. Now, there is an option for applying for council discretionary funding. So each council member has a set amount of money for discretionary funding to assist and support events and programs throughout the city, throughout their fiscal year. And so there is a separate form you can fill out online to go ahead and ask them for assistance in paying for any special events that you might want to have. If you need, we can also help send you that application and that information. So once we get all of that done, then we will go ahead and send you your permit. On the permit, any conditions. So for example, if you're having a rental in the park and we say you can have, the food trucks have to be on the concrete, not in the park, those specific conditions, they'll be listed in your permit. As well as the fees, as there might be a deposit depending upon the event, size of the event, what elements you're bringing in. So once you have the permit, the next business area, so we work with the Parks Department, make sure there's no damage, and then we would submit back your deposit payment via check. Do you guys have any questions about that? Yeah.
like if we have an event, or we have like out in the street or somewhere in the park and we have recommendations or something that we would still need to have insurance coverage too as well.
So the question was regarding having an event and if the vendors they're bringing in, nonprofit or for-profit, need the insurance. So that is by event. Anyone selling anything, if you were to bring in any vendors, absolutely, completely need insurance. And that insurance has to get approved by our risk management department, so that takes an extra step. Vendors who are selling items, yes. The rest of it is kind of, we look at what they're bringing to the event, if it's providing, if it's selling or not. Again, that's that community benefit that we can potentially use to help them not need insurance, but it's not a flat answer across the board.
It's a fair question because on the business license side, right? So let's say they're not asking the insurance for a free information from your organization, which always happens at many of your events. So the difference, I think that's changing. I just wanted to address it from the business licenses. We're trying to streamline it for our neighborhoods because we're trying to comply, right, with our business license team. They want all of the neighborhoods to complete a business license, but we're taking care of that and we'll be working with you because it's pre-filled already. And so we're trying to make it easier that way. And through the insurance that we're coordinating with risk management for your event at a park or at a street closure, that'll cover the educational outreach that some of the organizations you have attending would cover.
Yeah.
What about, like, somebody that doesn't have like a nonprofit or business license, that they just want to kind of do like, maybe, or like, I work with a gentleman that doesn't have a nonprofit, but he's very giving. And like, I like to come to some of these events, like, people that have a nonprofit together to get some gas, and so how can, would that be like, how, is there something that we offer to keep that?
So when the question was regarding vendors who want to come in who might not have 501c3 status, nonprofit status, or not having a business license. So all vendors, even nonprofits, have to have a business license in the city of Santa Ana for events. So that'll be on the event participant list. That'll be, it's kind of, we also call it the vendor list. And that'll get sent to business tax. Now, if they don't have one, they're able to apply for a business license, and Jessica is our contact in business tax who can assist them with getting a business license.
There's a one day.
There is, but we just tell them to communicate with her, and then she's the subject matter expert, so she can assist them. And there is, it's by quarters now, I believe also, but there is a one day as well. So it's not just an annual application. But the insurance is based upon vendors, like Margarita was talking about, community education, but vendors who sell something will always need the insurance. And then also when it comes to the insurance that they're talking about, that the neighborhood initiatives will purchase, it's for the overall event insurance. I know there's a lot of different deviations, absolutely. Any other questions?
So, first thing I want to discuss is fantastic, best sites. Barbecue running and the kitchen in there. As well as the laundry. So how do we tell our residents to make them better? I'm having 10 people who want to grow my husband. What's your fee schedule, or have some process, or how does that, what are you doing there?
So the fees for the new centers at the Santiago Park, the lawn bowling and the gas house, are still being finalized. And they will be more of a facility rental. It's just going into the green space. And if the event becomes public, so open to the public, anybody can come by, the whole neighborhood, then that's more of a special event. Whereas if it's 10 people here are coming in, we're not giving food to the public, that's a different type of event. Yeah. So you can always call and ask, send an email to the special events email, or even if you wanted to completely cover all bases, is submit the application and we'll let you know what's needed at that point.
And so will you let us know?
Sure, it's not me coming up with the fee schedule, but once we have one, we can send it over to Frank and Irene and they can send it out. I'll let them know. And also the amphitheater are also fees we're working on as well. Because we have some people who already want to attend. That'll be good. Any other questions? Offline, sure, no problem. We'll be here for to the end of the meeting, so. Oh, sorry. I'm back. Did you miss me? No. Okay, so. We were here a year ago, right? In November, it would have been a year ago at the college when we kicked off our training because we were talking about that transition. At that time, the council had already approved the general plan update. And so we had this new environmental justice section that was forming and I recently was promoted, but promoted means more work, right? So in addition to providing the support to our neighborhoods program, you know, we were also expanded to manage the implementation of environmental justice policies and actions in the general plan. Very key. We're probably, you know, one of the newest cities to be able to have dedicated staff to work on that to make sure it happens, but not just from the city side of the departments working with the community. So part of the reason why we're coming back and giving refreshers and giving you updates is because the goal is to equip you and equip ourselves and manage expectations so that you know what you can expect from us, from our office, because we're doing this. It's a huge endeavor. And even part of my next review, you know, for my performance entails, yeah, you need to further implement the framework for an environmental justice action team. And guess what? We have to have a structure. We have to look at a library of all these other external agencies that issue permits to factories or industrial facilities here that are emitting pollutants. So that is a whole new territory for our office. We're not new to environmental justice. That has been going on from our neighborhoods for a long time, but it formalizes you establishing a rapport and getting to know who's who from all of these agencies, Air Quality Management, Air Resources Board, learning about lead and all of our advocacy groups. We've had years, you know, doing that research and making recommendations and, you know, adding pressure, you know, for us to take a look at these things. Groundwater issues, I mean, that's something that we're working with Vivian and her neighborhood because there's legacy issues of some of these industrial sites that used to dump chemicals before there were like federal regulations. And so now it's immersed, it's growing. And so there are now agencies that are responding directly to the on-site, off-site cleanup. So there's a lot of work underway and there's more resources now. You probably hear it on the news. The state, this is a priority. The federal government, they're allocating, you know, other resources through EPA and others. So that is the shift that you're going to be seeing with our office. But we're bringing you with us because, you know, we do have a lot of neighborhoods that are considered environmental justice communities. So that is my preamble, if you want to call it, you know, to just some of the updates that are going to be continued with the staff. And that's why we have an additional staff. So I was promoted and we were able to hire another person. So we're so glad, you know, we have Alyssa, who's, you know, offline, and then Frank, and now Lisbeth, Christian, you've seen him, and myself. So that's been the focus. It's going to continue to work through itself, and I will hand it over to Lisbeth. Yes, thank you, Marta. So if you want to hear more about it, you're going to be able to hear a little bit more detail on our EJ update and what the city is doing, managing expectations with our neighborhoods at the Comlink meeting on Thursday, October 26th, 6 o'clock p.m.
at the police community room. So please, if you want more, if you want to see us again, we'll be there as well. Thank you. There's also another like stakeholder meeting happening that same night by Green, Madison Park Neighborhood Association, UCI. So yeah, there's a lot of groups that are very interested and committed to getting the city and all the other agencies to, pay attention and look for solutions. Thank you.
All right, guys, we're almost done. Thank you for being patient. So, as Margarita had previously mentioned, we're kind of pivoting into this environmental justice sector within our team. Now, none of this is possible without your guys' feedback and input. And so that's crucial so that we know how we can best help and tend to any of the concerns. As with any new subject, we need to start from somewhere. And the best determined way to do that has been, through allotting 2 participants from each of the 5 clusters. Now they're outlined here on the map. It doesn't mean that, there's no other environmental concerns in other neighborhoods, not at all, but these are the most heavily impacted. So for right now, we are trying to focus on composing an environmental justice committee. And they're gonna go ahead and help us out to go ahead and prioritize and figuring out how to best allocate our time, being realistic about how to address each one of the policies that we want to attain, and really overall trying to be sustainable and preventing more of these issues to continue to elaborate. So as I'm sure you guys have heard us, fester over the past couple of months, we've continually expanded our deadline from the beginning of September to the end of September and now to October 26th. So if you guys know anybody in any one of these clusters for CBOs, we're only going to have 2. There are a couple of prerequisites, which are that they have direct experience in environmental justice project involvement. It's specifically within the city of Santa Ana that is crucial considering the amount of affected areas that we have here. So if you are interested in applying, you can do it online. However, we've been diligent enough to print it out for you guys. There are pens there if you guys are within these clusters. Please feel free to take one if you know somebody who's interested. Input is crucial and feedback is also crucial for us so that we can be the best resource to you guys and guide everybody. And again, the deadline is October 26th. And here outlined are also the links. I know you can't click on the paper, but they're on our website as well. And I will go ahead and pass it on to Alyssa.
Hi, everyone. And just a correction on the last slide, it's 1 representative per cluster. Yeah, so that's a mistypo. And then it'll be 2 CBOs. But some accomplishments that we wanted to highlight, Margarita mentioned we did receive a sizable grant from SCAG, which is the Southern California Association of Governments. So that's going to be part of the outreach that Siri was talking about in terms of like the comprehensive zoning code update. So you guys will be hearing from us on that. Another grant that we received was CDBG funding, which is for a cool pavement project at Campesino Park and Madison Park. If you're not familiar with cool pavement, it's like a white sealant that goes on asphalt, and it's made to kind of lower the surface temperature, kind of reducing the heat island effect. So those are some cool projects that are coming your way. In progress, what we're currently doing, we have bi-weekly meetings with CBOs and OC Healthcare Agency on the city-led policies. And then, as you heard earlier too, we're working with the Delhi neighborhood in terms of providing a groundwater cleanup updates with various regulatory agencies. And as Lisbeth mentioned, we are working on the EJ Action Committee. And you guys should have received a flyer part of the toolkit, but we put together like different agencies, if you're not familiar on where to report certain issues, such as air quality, fire hazard complaints, discharge into the storm drain. So if you don't know who to call, definitely use this flyer as a resource. We also have, familiarize yourself with our page. We have a lot of resources we have an environmental resources page on there, and we post news from different, you know, agencies in the city that, you know, may receive a notice of violation, and you may be able to provide public comment. So if you want to be part of that, because I don't think you would want these types of companies, you know, receiving notices of violation and continuing to operate. So definitely voicing your concerns to those agencies that provide them with the permits is crucial. And if you kind of want to learn more about which facilities require, you know, these types of permits, we created a map that's on our website. You could type in your address and kind of, it tells you how many of these facilities receive those types of permits, either from South Coast AQMD, which is the Air Quality Management District, Department of Toxic Substances Control, and just various agencies. And in the bottom of the map, as you can see, that's the groundwater plume, if you're not familiar with it, but it does encompass part of the Delhi neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. I know Margarita is finishing up translating, but yeah, I would encourage you all to just kind of click through the map. Every time you click on one of the little dots, it'll open up a little window and it'll provide more information on who the company is or the business is and the type of permits they have, which agency they have them with. And then the link will provide you access to the website for that agency, and then you'll be able to find out whether or not they have any outstanding violations. They have violations that they're in progress of working towards remediation, or if you can also see all the historical data. You know, like how many violations have they had since the inception of that business. And I know Alyssa mentioned the plume, but it's that orange blob on the bottom of the screen. If you would actually kind of minimize that, you'll see that the plume is traveling south towards the ocean, because that's how the Earth is, you know, it's on an incline. It's an anna going towards like Irvine, ultimately like Newport Beach, and so yeah, you'll see that in that map. So,
I have one question over here.
yes.
Question. Who drew the maps for the Environmental Justice Action Committee?
So those.
Half of our neighborhoods is in that shaded area.
Yeah.
So even though all of our neighborhoods are affected.
That is based on the disadvantaged communities map, which I believe it's the EPA, the Cal EPA. They're the ones that designate the disadvantaged communities.
So this just helps us find out which census tracts, right? This is not neighborhood boundaries, but census tracts are more burdened with pollution. And there's also other like demographics. So there's this model that was used, you know, through the it's through the state. So and that was referenced in our general plan. So it's based on census tract, but you're right. It can separate what's over here, right? And over here. So the idea that it just helps us to narrow it down, or else it would, you know, at least to bring together a focus. So it doesn't mean because you don't live in a census tract that you won't be informed about what's going on. No, we are hitting the show on the road, right? We need to educate, because a lot of people have a different understanding of what environmental justice issues are affecting the area. Fireworks, right, is one that gets brought up, and it's beyond the census tract, right? So that's an example of how to see it. Don't think that, oh no, we're just going to focus on the neighborhood. No, we're trying to get participation from there, but the benefit will be for everyone.
So just one question, sorry. So I mean, I'm all about environmental justice. You know, I think it's important for our whole. I'm all about this is all about environmental justice. I'm not all about it, but it is important. It is important, and our whole city is affected. But does anyone ever factor in how the transient
population affects our neighborhood, because all the problems that is associated with the transient population and the drugs and the human defecation and urination and the mental illness, which is traumatizing to so many of our residents and children. Does that ever get factored into this environmental justice?
Yeah, that.
You have a broader interpretation of, let's say, what the state is telling us, because it's exposure to chemicals, lead. I mean, I guess, one interpretation could be, you know, if the feces doesn't get cleaned up, or there's, you know, becomes a public health issue, and there's different resources to do that right now. So I think for that, you don't have to wait for an EJ action committee to form. Right now, the city's very invested in getting the teams out there. If it's in a flood channel or in a riverbed, the county has resources. So yeah, I wouldn't mix it. If anything, that's a public health, a public safety to an extent, but it's a public health issue and it's a resources issue, and there's a lot. And I know that the Comlink, you know, board is looking at future topics to educate neighborhood leaders about, you know, what's out there, what resources are there, and we're trying to get information on models that are working in other areas, and even what are we doing and how can we improve it. So yeah, I wouldn't mix the two, but I could see that, you know, but this is more about the air quality, and it's more like policy, you know, the funding that's being directed and the resources. Can I continue?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I know we totally like went beyond the time, but I only have 2 clear points to share on this one. You already heard about the resources that our Rockstar team member Alyssa Ventura shared. But I did want to say that we have noticed that there could be areas of communication that could be improved among your board, among your board members, and among the people who attend your meetings and your events. So part of our commitment to continue with this transition is we are working with the Orange County Human Relations. They changed their name, but they typically have a free dispute resolution program, right? And anybody could go to them, any conflict, landlord, tenant, whatever it be. You know, as long as people are willing to participate, they will take that. But we're taking it a step further. We're trying to figure out if we can partner with them to offer group conflict engagement or conflict mediation to help you to manage all the different opinions, you know, arguments that may happen, so that you have a better sense of managing that, so that you're trying to accomplish the bigger, you know, goal, the objective. So just know that that is in the works. It's an important resource, and these are just based on observations that we've seen at some meetings, not like all of yours in particular. But that's something to expect from us. We try to provide as much clarity, and we're going to continue to do that. But we just thank you for just being here and being patient, and just know that we're going to get through this transition together. Thank you.
All right, guys, we're getting close to the end, I promise. So just some quick takeaways from what we presented today. I know it's been a huge lump sum of information. But we want to go ahead and make sure that we also get some of your feedback. You know, we fester about feedback, but also, you know, it's crucial for us to hear about some of the feedback that you all have with regard to this training. So to start, we would like to know how this might be useful, this information might be useful to you as a leader. Even if you don't have a leader title, you are a leader by presenting yourself here. So how that can help you guys in really promoting engagement and how it can help your neighborhood. So if anybody has any takeaways, we'd love to hear. Yes.
Thank you, Carla Juarez with Henninger Park. So some of the feedback that I wanted to provide is that those who are most impacted should be involved and should lead. And also those who are most impacted are most of the time poor. So in order like for them to show up, to also have their needs like met. And some of those needs are food, childcare, transportation, and basic things like language. Not just Spanish, because we have other folks other than Spanish that don't speak English. And I also wanted to add that having a group or like a community base of organizers, of leaders, also involve having like the responsibility for them to be respectful to their community. So I would also include having like sexual harassment trainings. I saw that you also put on their conflict resolution. So I'm very glad to see that there. Because it is not just like having folks show up to a meeting, but also like being respectful and responsible for those who lead. And that's, thank you.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
I have announcements, but I don't know.
Yes. Let's go ahead and take it away.
It's very dangerous to talk about.
Hello,
everybody. The Visit Irma Haurigi again, Wilshire Square Neighborhood Association and the Eville Club. I've got two announcements. We are having an open house next Wednesday from 5:30 to 7:30. We want to reacquaint everybody with the Eville. We're growing, we're expanding, the building is going to be 100 years next year. The society has been around 130 years. There's a great information, there's a lot of activities and enthusiasm, and I would love for everybody to just, it's open house, come to see the tour, the theater, the ballroom, the courtyard, and the fireplace room. There's a lot of activity next Wednesday at 5:30 to 7:30, and here's a flyer. And then for December, Wilshire Square will be having its annual holiday Christmas parade. We are having 7 bands. Modern Day will be with us. We have row riders, we have horses, and that will be the first Saturday in December, which is the 2nd. The event starts at 1 o'clock with cookie sales. And then the parade at 3 o'clock goes around this, I will have a map, I'll pass it on so everybody can have it. And so you're welcome to come and celebrate the season at Wilshire Square. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any more feedback? Hi, Carl, I'm here. That's great, we appreciate it. Go ahead.
Thank you. Again, I just want to remind you of our ComLink meeting on October 26th at the police community area. And we do valet parking, and it's at 6 o'clock. Come and learn more about environmental justice. Also, another area I want to talk to you, let you know what ComLink is working on. We're trying to get CERT active in the neighborhoods again. We are just got approval, and unfortunately, our city manager just left us. So I've been in conversation with Steve Mendoza acting, make sure that we're still on target for what we want to do. We want to get people in each one of the neighborhoods that are trained, knowing how to handle emergencies in that neighborhood. We're going to be trained by the Red Cross and the OCFA Fire Authority, and working on how do we communicate. So we're in the process of putting all that together, and it's our hope to get CERT active in the neighborhoods again.
All right, do we have a question? Nothing else? All right, guys, well, before you guys leave, because you've been so diligent and patient, actually, one more thing.
I do have one more announcement, and this touches on the conflict resolution offering that our offices will be putting together. We are looking or anticipating putting together a workshop series in late February, early March of 2024. So be on the lookout for that. Once again, conflict resolution workshop series, February or March 2024.
All right, now the good stuff. For your time and dedication, I do hope that everybody enlisted their name and phone number and email. Oh, sorry, one more. Let me ask our Spanish speakers if they have any feedback. ¿Necesitan una pregunta? Algo que nos pueden ayudar. Okay, muchas gracias por venir. So part of the end of the meeting, we wanted to go ahead and provide a raffle and opportunity. So as long as you've signed up your name, email, and phone number, we will be entering the names into a drawing. There are 4 different gift cards. So Amazon, Starbucks, and Target, for you guys, for your time, and we really appreciate it. And hopefully, if you guys have any other feedback, feel free to email us. We will go ahead and be available. And that's pretty much the conclusion of our meeting. I think Frank has, oh,
I have announcements for Memorial Park. If any of you are, sorry, what? Thank you. If any of you are aware, we have Memorial Park is going to get a new pool. Hopefully aquatic center and community center, we're hoping. But, sorry? Oh, me too. Me too. So we have some dates for workshops, right? Workshops. Community meeting and town hall event, Wednesday, October 18th. From 6 to 8 PM at Washington Elementary, and then there's another one, community meeting and town hall on Saturday, October 21st. At Washington, and October 21st is, we have an event, it's Thanks for the Memories, Memorial Pool, kind of saying goodbye to it. And hopefully next year is when they're gonna start the construction, so if anybody would like to join us, we'd love to have you. And, trunk or treat.
We're hosting a trunk or treat on October 31st on actual Halloween. At the front parking lot where the pool is. It begins at 5, ends at 8:30. We'd love to have you. Thank you.
and I think that's it. Thank you guys for your patience, for your active listening, and
If you need validations, I believe there should be a staff member at the front reception. They will validate your ticket on your way out. Thank you all and have a good night.